doing well today or tonight. I've got a bit of a ramble for y'all. I think tonight's topic, I'd like to start off with things that last. And what I mean by that is, well-crafted items, or hell, maybe even buildings. I guess I should say things in general. Like quality craftsmanship. The reason I'm bringing this up is because recently I've had a couple of, tools, especially tools, but other items as well, that at the time of my initial purchase, I had cheaped out to an extent. Not necessarily because I wanted to, but because that's what I could afford at the time, or whatever the reason might have been. The point being, I bought some cheaper items in my lifetime, and I'll admit, every now and again, I'm very pleasantly surprised. There's been a few budget items that have actually done very well and saved me quite a bit of money, which is always great, of course. But in all honesty, 90% of the time, when I buy something cheaper, it usually doesn't last very long, no matter how well I take care of it or follow the instructions of whatever that thing may be. It usually ends up breaking far sooner than the nicer option might have been. And again, but I should say that I think that cheaper budget options definitely have their place. Like I said, I didn't buy a lot of these budget-friendly options because I wanted to. It's because it's what I could afford, so it's great that those options exist. But I must admit, there have been times that I have cheaped out when I did not have to cheap out. And, it's always bit me in the butt. Every time. I definitely regret a few. Sorry, my stomach's growling again. There's a couple purchases I really regret. And I wish I would have paid the extra money for something a bit nicer, a bit more reliable. Now, I'm not a super big car guy or anything, but I grew up without a lot of money, and so it was kind of a necessity for me to learn how to work on cars, because if my car broke down, I certainly could not afford to just take it to a mechanic. That's thousands of dollars that I do not have. So buying parts and then doing it yourself is far, far cheaper. A $5,000 bill can be reduced all the way down to $200. That sounds like an exaggeration, but it's really not. You can save yourself a lot of money. One of these surprisingly good budget purchases I made, where it actually worked out for me. And again, I'm using the car fixing as an example. This goes far beyond vehicles and whatnot. I know not a lot of people are, not a lot of people work on cars. I get it. I don't work on them out of love. I work on them out of necessity. But anyhow, when I had first purchased my current car, the fuel gauge would not work. So I could not tell how much gas I had at any given point in time. So I was tracking my mileage with a pen and paper. You know, it got so and so miles per tank. So I'd track my mileage. That way I knew how much gas I had. And finally, you know, I knew what the problem was. It was the, I'm forgetting the name for it now, but basically, on your fuel pump, at least for this vehicle's fuel pump, there's like a little arm on it, and it has basically a floater there, and it floats on the gas, and that lever, the level it's at, basically it sends that info to your gas, your fuel gauge, and shows you your level. That had fallen off of the fuel pump. I shouldn't say fallen off, it had corroded and broke off, so it needed to be replaced. Fuel sending unit. That's what it's called. Fuel sending unit. Anyhow, it's not really important, but the fact that the fuel sending unit was in that bad of shape, the fuel pump was not going to be far behind it. So I was going to replace the whole thing. Now, the original part for this car, the OEM, as they call it, part, the OEM fuel pump, would have cost me a few $100s. A few $100 that I did not have at the time. But there was a budget version that fit my vehicle. That costed $50. Now, that's one of those price ranges that seems too good to be true, you know? But it was the only option I had at the time. Now, some of you might be thinking, why didn't you just keep tracking your miles on pen and paper until you could save up for the OEM part? Well, I was starting to have some fuel-related issues with the vehicle. That was caused by the fuel. Basically, the fuel pump was dying, and I could tell. And I didn't want it to die on my way to work and get stranded. So it was pretty urgent, you know. Anyhow, so I ended up buying the $50 fuel pump. It's been 2 years now, and it's still in there, and I've had no problems with it. And of course, I can tell how much gas I have. which is really nice. You never know how much you miss something as simple as knowing how much gas you have until you don't have that ability anymore, you know? But anyways, I digress. So that's one of the rare occasions where buying something a little more cheaply made actually really worked out well for me. I've gotten way more than my $50 worth from that fuel pump. But there's been other times where I've bought the cheaper thing and it didn't work out quite as great, you know. And one of those was a microphone. Believe it or not the microphone that I was having issues with for this channel, but when I was younger, I had gotten a condenser microphone, just for, using on Discord and things like that. And while it did do what a microphone does, it had a horrible, horrible feedback sound to it. I mean, it would ring like a bell, a distorted bell. It wasn't a pleasant sound by any stretch of the imagination. I had cheaped out when I could have bought something nicer, but I thought, this one seems alright. I regretted that, and what ended up happening, because I cheaped out when I could have spent the extra money for something more reliable, I ended up having to spend even more money in the long run, because obviously it broke really fast, and I had some problems, so I ended up having to buy the nicer one after paying for the not so nice one in the first place. It's like the saying, buy it nice or buy it twice. That really applied to me there. And there's been lots of instances like that where I've totally cheaped out, and I always, not always, but most of the time, really, really regret doing it. The same goes for handmade items. Now, I myself am a craftsman. I do lots of leather work, and many, many years ago, I would make rings as well. And especially in that area of things, leather work specifically, you definitely get what you pay for, the Renaissance Fair, I had gone to that, probably 3 or 4 years ago now. It's been a long, long time, but anyhow, I went to the Renaissance Fair, and at the Renaissance Fair there's all sorts of booths with handmade items and whatnot, and there was a very distinct price difference at a specific booth that was selling leather items. The fellow there mostly specialized in wallets and coin purses. He had a couple other things, but mainly that. And he had a range, of prices from, budget friendly to top of the line, very, very painstakingly handcrafted stuff that was beautiful. I mean, gorgeous work, really, really nice stuff. And yeah, you know, some of his budget wallets were $30 to $40. Now, honestly, it was still a handmade wallet, and beat pretty much any other $30 to $40 wallet you'd find in a store like Walmart or whoever sells wallets around you. But it certainly wasn't even, the craftsmanship wasn't even as close to, there's Gilbert. Gilbert the Cricket made his appearance in the video. Sorry, anyway. What was I talking? Oh, yes. His most budget item paled in comparison greatly to even his kind of like middle tier kind of items, things that weren't crazy expensive, but weren't, you know, super cheap either. And yeah, there was quite the price difference, or sorry, quality difference for not too big of a price difference. It was kind of cool to see, you know. I mean, again, I do leather work as well, so I had more of a appraising eye for that type of thing. But yeah, you get what you pay for in most instances, you know. And yeah, I've learned that lesson the hard way many times. You'd think I wouldn't make that mistake so much, but I have. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. Again, sometimes I didn't have a choice. I needed something and I didn't have the money for the option that I knew was better. But there's times when I did, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it at all. Yeah. Kind of ashamed for that. You make mistakes, you know. It happens. You live and you learn. Well, I guess in my case I live and I don't learn when it comes to this specific instance. Although nowadays I am better with it. I tend to go for the item I know is gonna last, because it usually works out better that way. I guess on the trail of leatherwork, or the train of thought of leatherworking, while we're kind of on that topic, when I was first starting out, I would get so frustrated. It was so silly of me, because I was just learning a whole new thing, a whole new craft that I had no experience in beforehand. And I remember being so frustrated that the quality of the items I was making really wasn't that great. My stitching was all slanted and uneven, and I remember I was using this thread that was way too thick. I mean, it looked like I had rope going through the edges of the wallets that I was making. It was terrible. Truly, it was awful. Some of the worst looking leather pieces you'll ever see in your life. And, I mean, gosh, I would just get so upset, because I was like, I want to make stuff that's gonna last, you know, and, stuff that I can look at in the future and course I was going to be bad at it. I had never done it before. But, slowly and surely, I got better and better at it until finally, I remembered too, I'd finally made something that I was proud of. I finished. It was this, it's basically a dice bag. It could have been like a small handbag as well. But it was more, I made it mainly for a dice pouch for D&D. And it was this small green bag. I used like an olive green leather and this nice, like tobacco brown leather to contrast it. It had this, like a strip that went down the middle to reinforce the bag. And I remember finishing that, and that was the first project I did that I actually, I finished it and went, this is pretty good. I was happy with the quality. It was something that I could show people and be like, I made that. I did that, I was so proud. So proud. I don't have that piece anymore. I actually gave it as a gift. But yeah, I was very proud of that bag I had made. And that's something that's gonna last. That thing is gonna outlive all of us that are watching this right now. I promise you. It's gonna outlive me. It's probably gonna outlive the next generation as well. I so over-engineered that bag. It's ridiculously sturdy. The leather is gonna turn to dust. That's the only way that thing's gonna go anywhere, and it's gonna deteriorate over hundreds of years. It's gonna be here a long time. But anyhow, I like to look for stuff like that. I don't know about y'all, but I really like to find items that I know are gonna last like my whole life. I never have to buy it again. I get it, and it's gonna be with me forever. Well, my forever. It's so cool. I love that kind of thing. I find it so fascinating. People can make things that last so long. How do I explain this? My train of thought on this. I know this isn't the case, okay? But when I have something for such a long time, it almost starts to feel alive in a sense. Like it has spirit to it. It has soul, There's things I own that I've had for since I can remember, really. And yeah, it feels like they have soul to it. The items tell so many stories, I love that so much. I want to live in a house that is full of furniture and items and utensils, whatever it may be, art that has soul to it. Things that have been around a long time and will continue to be around long after I'm gone, at the ripe age of 274. That's how long I plan to live. I don't know how well that's gonna go. I'm gonna try. Anyhow, I don't know, especially I love going to antique stores, or even, soul to them, you know. I mean, you can almost point them out, you know, like out of a room. You can see. Sorry, I stuttered. I didn't know the word I wanted to say there, but you can almost pick them out of a room, like really easily, you know. You can scan, and those kind of items almost always catch your eye, you know. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I don't know. You ever been in a store, or like a thrift store, or an antique store, and you're just looking around and something just like calls to you, like you're like, whoa, catches your eye, you know. Those are the things that tend to have soul, in my opinion, and I love coming across them. I love it so much. For me, it always tends to be furniture, which is kind of a bummer, because I don't need any furniture right now, but I'll always come across like some kind of nightstand or drawer, or not drawer, you know what I mean, dresser. That's the word I'm looking for. Or maybe a table, and I can tell it's handcrafted and it's beautiful wood has been used. Like, I love walnut furniture. I'm being such an old man, like nerd right now, I'm sorry. But, you know, something that's handcrafted, I love, like, joinery done by hand, like hand done, hand sawn, dovetail joints and things like that are beautiful pieces. And I mean, I want to buy it. I have no use for it, but I want to grab that furniture because it's got soul, you know. It's something about it. It's just amazing. Catches my eye. I just really appreciate the craftsmanship of it. And I mean, it's been around for decades already, and it looks that good. It's going to be around for many decades more. It lasts, you know. I'd never have to buy a dresser like that again. That one's going to last forever. I love that stuff. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm not doing a good job of describing what I'm trying to say or putting it into words, but there's just something so cool about having things around you that kind of grow with you, you know? I don't know if that makes much sense. I'm sorry. But that's how I feel. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. I have so many thoughts in this old brain of mine. But I struggle so much with putting the thought to word. I feel like I do a terrible job of making points or just getting my thoughts across. I truly am sorry for those of you. This video has been a complete mess. I feel like I had some point with things at last. I was talking about my car, fuel pumps, cheaping out when I shouldn't have, and then furniture and leather work at some point. Goodness, my God. I don't know where I was. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is things that last are well worth whatever it may cost to get them most of the time. Nothing wrong with budget items, but things that last, they're pretty great. They're always worth it. I've never bought a single thing that was high quality that I regretted. I can't think of a single one, but I can think of dozens of times I cheaped out on something, and yeah, it bit me in the butt later. I guess that was the point I'm trying to make. I don't know, I guess maybe there really isn't any point. I'm just rambling. I'm just getting thoughts out of my head. So I'm gonna stop there. I feel like I'm probably driven y'all to madness. I'm sorry. I'm driving myself crazy. There's Gilbert again. Gilbert says it's time to end the video. So that's what we're gonna do. As always, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. I really, really appreciate it. I'm happy to have you all here. I think it's so cool that we have like a little community. It's so cool seeing y'all in the comments and just chatting with y'all. It's the best. So thank you so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your day or night, and that y'all stay safe out there. Have a good one, y'all.